So today we have Dr. Arkasama Bandapatai, who is an instructional assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Texas A&M University. She previously earned a bachelor's degree of sciences in mechanical engineering with a minor in mathematics from Oklahoma State University and a PhD in mechanical engineering from the University of Texas at Austin. Dr. Bandapatai is interested in engineering education and is currently working on a project introducing responsible generative artificial intelligence usage in undergraduate mechanical engineering courses to improve student learning outcomes. Additionally, she's collaborating with a project exploring the effect of implementation of an autograder from an open-ended collaborative term project in a junior level numerical methods class. Previously, Dr. Bandapatai has worked on projects involving Bloom's taxonomy-based assessments, distributed energy resources, residential demand response, and building energy systems. In addition to academic research and teaching, she enjoys mentoring students in engineering disciplines within and beyond Texas A&M University. So Dr. Bandaspatai's topic today is introducing responsible AI usage in a junior level numerical methods class. So Dr. Bandapatai, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Swelly. I'm going to share my screen, and if at any point you have trouble hearing me or seeing my screen, please let me know. But you should be able to see my PowerPoint slides here. So I'll be talking about introducing responsible AI usage in a junior level numerical methods class. So kind of the background motivation is that in recent years, generative AI is being utilized widely in higher education for personalized learning, providing real-time feedback, for designing course assessments, etc. And as AI becomes more widely used in businesses, industries, and the larger society, it's very likely that college students after graduation are expected to at least come in contact with AI in some capacity. So it is I believe strongly that for holistic student development, in addition to the regular coursework, college instructors must teach students to both understand the capabilities and limitations of these AI tools and use them ethically and responsibly within the boundaries of the course policies. And currently, AI detection tools are not completely reliable. So even if you were to ban usage, there's no way of confirming that they did use AI and accusing students of plagiarizing if they don't admit to it, right? So now we need to be emphasizing proper AI utilization and citation rather than restricting or even banning usage. Ideally, there would be a complete upheaval of course policies and a redesign of every single course assessment. However, there are logistical limitations. Most instructors are teaching multiple courses. There's time limitations, and often instructors are themselves getting familiar with this ever-increasing array of AI tools. It's not like they had 5 years of graduate coursework training on AI. Most faculty at this point don't have that, right? So introducing small incremental changes in course policies and assignments might be the most effective and realistic way forward. So this is a three-pronged intervention in a junior level numerical methods class in the mechanical engineering department. And I'll talk about each of the three prongs and results from those three interventions there. So this is basically a numerical methods class where students are taught a bunch of mathematical and statistical techniques, and they apply those they use Python code to apply those concepts or those mathematical techniques to a mechanical engineering design context there. So the first prong is having an AI citation policy and including an AI reflection question for each individual assignment. So in terms of the citation policy, before I even started this project, we were already doing asking students that if they did use AI. So in this course, students are not required to use AI, but if they did use AI, we were asking students to provide screenshots for their code, for their conversations with the AI tool. And I explored some other citation policies, but decided to stick with the one that we already had because I wanted students to be able to go back to kind of the prompts they were using. What did the AI tool? What response did the AI tool give them, and how did they use that? So having those screenshots I thought was useful. So no need to change something that's not really broken there. In terms of the AI reflection question, this is something that we were exposed to through this CTE generative AI learning community last summer, and I kind of stole the question from there. But the question was, if you used any AI tools, again, they're not required to, please answer the following questions. Did usage of the AI tool enhance your learning and understanding? If so, how? And if not, what are the implications of relying on it for something that you can't do or that you don't understand? So not everyone used AI, and even if they did, I told them that if you use AI, please answer this question, but I have no way of checking exactly whether they answered the question or not. So I have responses from 2 select assignments. These are individual assignments. And this is from 2 sections I was teaching in the fall for the same course. The response rate is not that high, but I don't know if others did use AI or not. So I have a word cloud here with the different responses. And overall, they said that often, since in this course, they're doing coding, right, in Python. So they often would use that for debugging. If you'll see, I don't know if you can see my cursor here, but at the bottom, there's debugging. So they would use that for debugging their code. And I've actually seen this firsthand in my office hours a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to figure out the error in one student's code, and I spent like half an hour on it, couldn't figure it out. And then they put it into AI right in front of me because they're allowed to do that. And the AI tool figured it out immediately. It was like we were staring at it, but we are human, so couldn't really figure it out. But AI, when used ethically and responsibly, can be really great. So also they use that for their understanding, figuring out how certain functions worked, and so on. So overall, it did help them. The second prong of this intervention is not for the students. I guess students do have a part in it, but it's for me as an instructor. I used AI to generate in-class assessment questions at various Bloom's taxonomy levels. If you're not familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, it's a tiered or hierarchical tiered learning model that categorizes learning or knowledge into these levels of remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So I have some takeaways from my experience here. I found that the pros were it reduced the burden of the mental capacity, the time required for generating novel questions every semester based on the lecture material. For the in-class assignments, I don't need novel questions every semester, but if I were to like have a quiz or in the exam, I wanted to generate a question, I don't want to repeat the question from the previous semester, so I'd need novel questions every semester. And then the generative AI tools phrase the questions in various ways, or sometimes use terminology that was not exactly the same as what is covered in lecture. And that's actually a good thing. You might think that's a bad thing, but that's actually a good thing, because I want students to be able to answer questions from like different perspectives, and when tools are used or when wording is used in a different way. So that's actually a good thing. The cons are that the answers provided were not always correct. So you need to evaluate the correctness before sharing with students or sending the rubric or solutions to the grader. And then the other con is, and maybe this is because I'm relatively new to generative AI, I need to research prompt engineering to be able to have the AI tool generate questions that at various taxonomy levels that fit within the course context. Sometimes the AI tool was generating questions that I didn't cover the concepts of, or didn't really fit into the class context. So that's more on me. I need to explore writing various prompts. So the third prompt, or the third prong, is to generate 2 in-class activities or homework questions, and I focused on in-class activities last semester, where students are mandated to use AI. So I want to kind of level the playing field and have this tool, and I want to students to be exposed to this tool. Whether they choose to use it or not in my class is up to them. But for these 2 in-class activities, these are mandatory activities, and students need to use AI here. I want them to evaluate the accuracy of AI-generated content, discuss the efficiency, reflect on how they would have done it differently. So the first in-class assignment, I talked about the difference between transformational, human in the loop, AI versus transactional AI. So if you're not familiar, transformational and human in the loop AI just means that you're assessing the correctness of AI responses and actively iterating on them. And then transactional is basically you're blindly copying and pasting AI generated content, which you don't want to do. So transformational is good, transactional is not good. And I talked about the importance of evaluating the accuracy of AI generated content. So this is basically the assignment. We were coding up a particular method, the Euler method for ordinary differential equation initial value problems. They learned about the math concept and we did some hand calculations. Then we coded in Python. And then I asked them to use any AI tool they want and to have the AI tool generate the code for that particular method. And I talked about in point 3 here, human in the loop, transformational AI and transactional AI, asked them to evaluate the correctness of the responses and so on. The second one, so the first one was introduced to students kind of after a month and a half after the semester started. And the second one was closer to the end, maybe a couple of weeks before the semester ended. So in this one, we talked about the accountability or responsibility of taking the ownership of what you're submitting and not just saying the AI tool gave me that piece of code. So in our syllabus, I write this and that's in the last sentence here. The onus is on students to evaluate the correctness of the answer generated every time prior to submission. And I told students or instructed students to clarify 3 different concepts about linear regression and interpolation. Those are topics that we cover towards the end of the semester. And then evaluate the correctness based on either lecture notes, the course textbook, or other citable online sources. And then I had a survey at the end of the semester to kind of gauge the effect of these interventions on student learning. So the first 2 questions are based on that AI usage reflection question that I showed earlier. And then the 3, 4, and 5 are based on the AI in-class assignments, the 2 in-class activities that we did. And then the last, number 6, is basically open-ended on if they would like to share about the AI-related modifications. And I will go into each of these questions on the next slide when I show the results. So here, this is from one of my sections. They had a 60% response rate. I gave them some participation credit or some extra credit to fill in, which is why we had a high response rate. I don't know if you can read everything here. The font might be too small, but basically green is good. Orange is neutral, red is bad, pretty much, right? Green is agree. Both the light and the dark one, those are both agree, and those are both good. If we get a lot of green, that's good, basically. So the first question was the AI usage reflection question in the individual homework assignments encouraged me to actively think and analyze what aspects of the assignments the generative AI tool was useful for. And most students agreed with that. So you see lots of green there. The second one said the AI usage reflection question in the individual homework assignments discouraged me from blindly copying and pasting AI generated content. And most people agreed. So that's a good thing. I don't want them to blindly copy and paste AI generated content. Now, for the next 3, those were about in-class assignments. So the in-class assignments encouraged me to assess the correctness of AI-generated responses and actively iterate on them, and most students said yes or agreed with that statement. The 4th one here, the generative AI in-class assignments discouraged me from blindly copying and pasting AI-generated content. That's most people agreed with that as well. And then the generative AI in-class assignments motivated me to become familiar with at least one AI tool and use that tool for other aspects. Here, the percentage of green is slightly lesser, but still a majority for the last question there. So I want them to get familiar with at least one AI tool. Whether they choose to use it or not is up to them, for my course at least, right? And then I have similar results for my other section where at a 67% response rate. I'm not going to go through everyone, but basically green is good. Green means that they liked my intervention pretty much. Now for the open-ended question, I have some positive ones here and some more constructive ones on the next slide, and I'll talk about what changes I made this semester. So some comments were that they really liked, or this one said, no, I really enjoyed this course, that this course encouraged the responsible use of AI. Most professors like to ban it at all costs and completely ignore it. And I'm glad the student felt this way because I don't want to ignore it. It's kind of like I use the analogy of a calculator. So in my, let's say, fluid mechanics class or thermodynamics class, it's kind of like telling students those long multiplications or additions, you just have to do it by hand. Don't use a calculator. I want you to remember how to add or multiply, right? They learn that in elementary school. Right now, I just want to have them focus on more higher order thinking, other concepts, pretty much. The other student said, I think it's important to understand that AI is here and we can't avoid it. So trying to go about incorporating it in an educational way is a very good idea. And then they like that I didn't outright ban its use. The last one here, they said adding the AI usage statement to each assignment allowed for the most efficient use of AI without feeling like you were doing anything wrong, right? So I've had students use it in my office hours, or students have admitted to using it, and that's great because I'm not banning it, right? If I was banning it, I'm sure they would still use it in some capacity because AI detection tools are not reliable right now, so I can't really figure out who used AI or who not in a reliable way. But I'm glad I'm letting them use it so they don't have to hide it from me, and they're hopefully I'm teaching them to use this in a responsible way. So this is more constructive feedback on this slide. So one person said, I found using AI very helpful, but oftentimes I would not use it since I was required to fill out an additional reflection question. And I think that's good. Like, that's the purpose of the reflection question. If they don't want to spend extra 5-10 minutes filling that out, maybe they just want to copy and paste what AI gave them. So I think that's a good thing here. Other person said, one issue I had was at times the AI did produce a fully correct code, such as some I see here. It was hard to comment on not using it if the full code was fully correct, and that's fine as long as you say that I did use or I did use my judgment, I did assess the correctness. That's fine. If AI gave a completely correct answer, that's good, right? The last one here. One person said it was initially helpful, but its usefulness fell off after I basically said the same thing every week. This person said the 2 ICs were not useful and mostly a waste of time. I mean, we spent 10 minutes of class time on 2 different lecture periods, so you can't satisfy everybody. But in my opinion, as you saw in the responses previously, most people did like it. So, but based on this third bullet point here, I did modify the reflection question. So I'll show that this semester. So this is the only modification I made this semester. Other than that, I kept everything the same. So the last question is what I had only had in the fall, or the last bullet point is what I had in the fall, but I added some other questions and I tweaked it in a different way for different assignments. So the first one said, what functions do you use AI for? Did use of AI increase your coding efficiency? Did use of AI change your coding confidence? Did you use your judgment? And I don't have responses analyzed yet here. But hopefully these reflection questions have them actively iterating on those AI generated content instead of just copying and pasting responses there. Yeah, and that is all I have. So I'm happy to take any questions you have or answer any questions there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to stop recording now so we can have questions.